In a galaxy where interstellar diplomacy is key to peace and cooperation, a shy alien diplomat named Xelara from the serene planet Tranquilia is assigned to Earth. Xelara's mission is to foster relations and share cultural experiences. However, her first encounter with human cuisine, prepared by a passionate and somewhat intimidating chef named Marcus, leaves her both terrified and irresistibly drawn to the exotic flavors. As Xelara navigates the complexities of human culture and cuisine, she discovers more about herself and the unexpected bonds that can form across species. And so, the story begins. Xelara stepped out of the sleek, silver spacecraft, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Earth, with its bustling cities and vibrant cultures, was a stark contrast to her serene home planet, Tranquilia. She was here on a diplomatic mission, tasked with fostering relations and sharing cultural experiences. As she adjusted the shimmering cloak around her shoulders, she couldn't help but feel a pang of homesickness. The bustling city around her was a sensory overload. The air was filled with the hum of vehicles, the chatter of people, and the tantalizing aroma of food. Xelara's translator device buzzed softly in her ear, picking up snippets of conversation and translating them into her native tongue. She took a deep breath and stepped into the throng of people, her eyes wide with wonder. Her first destination was a renowned restaurant, owned by a chef named Marcus. The restaurant was a popular spot, known for its innovative dishes and vibrant atmosphere. As Xelara approached the entrance, she could feel her anxiety rising. She had read about human cuisine, but the reality of it was daunting. The smells wafting from the kitchen were intense and unfamiliar, and she couldn't shake the fear that the food might be too much for her delicate palate. Inside, the restaurant was a flurry of activity. Waiters moved swiftly between tables, carrying trays laden with colorful dishes. The air was thick with the scent of spices and sizzling food. Xelara's heart raced as she made her way to a table near the kitchen, her eyes darting around nervously. Marcus, the chef, was a tall, broad-shouldered man with a brusque demeanor. He moved with the confidence of someone who knew his craft well, his hands a blur as he prepared dishes with precision and flair. Xelara watched in awe as he worked, her fear momentarily forgotten. When her food arrived, Xelara's hands trembled as she picked up the utensils. The dish before her was a riot of colors and textures, a far cry from the simple, elegant meals she was used to. She took a hesitant bite, her taste buds exploding with unfamiliar flavors. The intensity of the spices made her eyes water, and she struggled to keep her composure. A misunderstanding soon followed. Xelara's reaction to the food was misinterpreted as disapproval, and Marcus, noticing her discomfort, approached her table with a frown. "Is there a problem with the food?" he asked, his tone more gruff than he intended. Xelara, flustered and overwhelmed, shook her head vigorously. No, it's just different," she stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. Marcus's expression softened as he realized her predicament. "It's your first time trying human food, isn't it?" he asked gently. Xelara nodded, her cheeks flushing with embarrassment. "Don't worry," Marcus said with a reassuring smile. "It takes some getting used to. Let me make something a bit milder for you." He returned to the kitchen, leaving Xelara to collect her thoughts. Determined to give the food another chance, Xelara took a deep breath and tried another bite. This time, she focused on the individual flavors, appreciating the complexity of the dish. It was a small step, but it marked the beginning of her journey to overcome her fear. When Marcus returned with a new dish, Xelara felt a surge of gratitude. The food was milder, but still rich with flavors she was beginning to appreciate. She offered Marcus a tentative smile, her fears slowly giving way to curiosity. That night, as she left the restaurant, Xelara felt a sense of accomplishment. She had taken her first step in embracing the unknown, and it filled her with a renewed sense of purpose. The road ahead was still uncertain, but she was determined to face it with courage and an open heart. The next day, Xelara found herself drawn back to Marcus's restaurant. The initial fear had given way to a burgeoning curiosity, and she was eager to explore more of human cuisine. As she entered the bustling eatery, she was greeted by the now familiar smells and sounds that had initially overwhelmed her. Marcus spotted her from the kitchen, and gave a nod of acknowledgement. He seemed genuinely pleased to see her return. "Welcome back," he called out, his voice carrying over the din of the restaurant. "I've prepared something special for you today." Xelara smiled, her nerves still present but significantly muted. She took her seat and watched as Marcus set down a series of dishes in front of her. Each one was a work of art, meticulously crafted with vibrant colors and intricate presentations. As she sampled the dishes, Xelara found herself marveling at the artistry involved. The flavors were diverse and complex, each bite a new experience. She began to appreciate the skill and passion that went into creating such meals. Throughout the meal, Marcus joined her at the table, sharing stories about the origins of each dish and the inspiration behind them. Xelara, in turn, shared tales of Tranquillian cuisine, describing the serene, meditative meals that were a staple of her home planet. The exchange was enlightening for both of them, bridging the gap between their vastly different cultures. At one point, Xelara experienced a moment of clarity. The food, she realized, was more than just sustenance. It was a form of expression, a way to communicate and connect. This epiphany deepened her appreciation for Marcus's craft and for the cultural exchange they were engaging in. As the evening progressed, Xelara and Marcus began to build a genuine bond. They laughed over stories of kitchen mishaps and shared their hopes and dreams. Marcus's brusque exterior softened, revealing a man deeply passionate about his work and eager to learn about other cultures. Xelara's growing openness and curiosity were met with Marcus's deeper understanding of her culture. The initial tension between them dissolved, replaced by a mutual respect and admiration. Xelara decided that she wanted to learn more about human cuisine, to fully embrace this aspect of her mission. Before she left, Marcus handed her a small recipe book. "Consider this a starting point," he said with a smile. "If you ever want to try making these dishes yourself, I'd be happy to help." Xelara accepted the book gratefully, feeling a sense of excitement about the culinary journey ahead. As she stepped out into the cool night air, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The world of human cuisine was vast and varied, and she was ready to dive in, guided by the expertise and friendship of Marcus. Xelara sat in her small apartment, staring at the holographic message from the Tranquillian High Council. The words were polite but firm. Her progress on Earth was slower than expected, and they were growing impatient. Her role was crucial, and any delays could jeopardize the entire mission. Xelara felt a pang of anxiety. She had been doing her best, but adapting to a new culture and fostering meaningful exchanges took time. Determined to prove her worth, Xelara decided to spend more time at Marcus's restaurant, hoping to deepen her understanding of human cuisine and strengthen their bond. When she arrived, the place was buzzing with activity. Marcus greeted her with a nod, his hands busy chopping vegetables at an impressive speed. "Hey, Xelara," he called over the clamor. "Perfect timing. I could use an extra pair of hands today." Xelara's eyes widened. She had never cooked in a human kitchen before, but she nodded eagerly. "Of course, I'd be happy to help." As she tied on an apron, Marcus began to explain the tasks. However, the day took an unexpected turn when a dish in the oven caught fire. The kitchen erupted into chaos. Xelara, trying to be helpful, grabbed a nearby fire extinguisher and doused the flames, but not before the smell of burnt food filled the air. Marcus sighed heavily, his shoulders slumping. "Well, that's one way to start the day," he muttered, trying to salvage what he could. Xelara felt a pang of guilt. "I'm sorry, Marcus. I wanted to help, but I made things worse." He waved her apology away. "It's not your fault. Kitchens are unpredictable. Let's just get through the rest of the day." Later, as the chaos subsided, they decided to experiment with blending Tranquillian and human cuisines. Marcus showed her how to mix spices, while Xelara introduced him to the delicate flavors of her home planet. They worked side by side, their initial tension giving way to camaraderie. Their progress was interrupted by the unexpected arrival of a Tranquillian official. Xelara's heart sank as she recognized Ambassador Thalin, a stern figure known for his strict adherence to protocol. "Xelara," Thalin said, his voice icy, "we need to talk about your mission." Xelara led him to a quiet corner of the restaurant, where Thallin expressed the council's concerns about her progress. Xelara defended her actions, explaining the challenges of cultural integration and the importance of building genuine connections. Thallin's gaze softened slightly. "I understand, Xelara. But remember, your mission is crucial. Do not lose sight of that." As Thallin departed, Xelara felt the weight of her responsibilities even more acutely. Her thoughts were interrupted by Marcus, who handed her a plate of their fusion creation. "Try this," he said, a hopeful gleam in his eyes. Xelara took a bite, the flavors melding beautifully. "It's incredible, Marcus. I think we're onto something." Just as they were about to celebrate their small victory, the restaurant received notice of an unexpected health inspection. Panic set in as they scrambled to ensure everything was in order. Marcus barked orders, and Xelara found herself running back and forth, assisting wherever she could. The inspection was thorough, but thanks to their teamwork, they passed with flying colors. The relief was palpable, and Marcus clapped Xelara on the back. "Couldn't have done it without you," he said, grinning. Xelara smiled, her confidence slowly returning. She realized that despite the challenges, she was making progress. Her bond with Marcus was strengthening, and she was learning to navigate the complexities of human culture. As the day ended, she felt a renewed determination to succeed in her mission. With the recent challenges behind them, Xelara decided it was time to organize a cultural exchange event at Marcus's restaurant. It would be an opportunity to introduce Tranquillian cuisine to human guests and foster a deeper understanding between the two cultures. She spent days meticulously planning the event, with Marcus's enthusiastic support. The evening of the event, the restaurant was transformed. Vibrant decorations representing both cultures adorned the walls, and tables were set with an array of Tranquillian artifacts and traditional human elements. The aroma of combined culinary traditions filled the air, creating an enticing atmosphere. Guests began to arrive, a mix of humans and Tranquillians, each curious about the other's culture. Marcus, dressed in a formal chef's uniform, greeted them warmly. Xelara, wearing traditional Tranquillian attire, felt a sense of pride as she moved through the crowd, introducing dishes and explaining their significance. Marcus had taken the time to learn how to cook a traditional Tranquillian meal, and he was eager to showcase his new skills. As the evening progressed, the guests mingled, sharing stories and laughter. It was a heartwarming sight, and Xelara felt a deep sense of fulfillment. However, the evening wasn't without its hiccups. A cultural misunderstanding arose when a human guest misinterpreted a Tranquillian gesture, leading to an awkward moment. Xelara quickly stepped in, explaining the gesture and diffusing the situation with grace and humor. Marcus watched her with admiration. "You handled that well," he said later, as they stood by the buffet table. Xelara smiled. "It's all part of the job. Misunderstandings are bound to happen, but it's how we resolve them that matters." The guests were impressed with the food, and many approached Marcus to compliment him on his culinary skills. He beamed with pride, his earlier doubts melting away. The positive feedback from the attendees was a testament to their hard work and collaboration. As the evening drew to a close, Xelara and Marcus shared a quiet moment, reflecting on the success of the event. "This was a great idea," Marcus said. "It's amazing to see how food can bring people together." Xelara nodded, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "We've come a long way, Marcus. This is just the beginning." Their bond had grown stronger, and they had proven that cultural exchange could be a powerful tool for understanding and cooperation. Xelara felt more confident in her role, knowing that she was making a positive impact. As they cleaned up, Xelara looked around the restaurant, now filled with memories of shared laughter and new connections. She knew that her mission was far from over, but tonight was a significant milestone. With Marcus by her side, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that together they could overcome anything. The restaurant was abuzz with activity, and Xelara could feel the tension in the air. A local food critic had recently published a scathing review, criticizing the fusion dishes Marcus had worked so hard to perfect. The review was unfair, focusing more on the novelty of the dishes than their quality, but it had shaken Marcus's confidence. Xelara watched as Marcus moved through the kitchen, his movements more mechanical than usual. She knew he was feeling the pressure, and she wanted to find a way to help. Just then, Marcus received an invitation to participate in a prestigious cooking competition. It was the perfect opportunity to prove himself, but Marcus hesitated, his confidence shaken by the critics' harsh words. "Marcus," Xelara said gently, "this competition is your chance to show everyone what you can do. Don't let one bad review hold you back." He looked at her, doubt in his eyes. "What if I'm not good enough, Xelara? What if I fail?" "You won't fail," Xelara said firmly. "I'll be there with you every step of the way. We'll prepare together and show them what you're capable of." With Xelara's encouragement, Marcus agreed to enter the competition. They spent the next few days experimenting with new fusion dishes, blending the delicate flavors of Tranquillian cuisine with bold human spices. It was a challenging process, but Xelara's presence and support made it easier. Despite the long hours and the occasional setback, Xelara remained positive. She knew Marcus was struggling with self-doubt, but she believed in his talent and determination. One evening, as they were working late, Marcus voiced his fears. "What if they don't like our dishes, Xelara? What if the critics tear us apart again?" Xelara put a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Marcus, you have a gift. Your passion for cooking shines through in every dish you create. This is about more than just winning a competition. It's about sharing our cultures and bringing people together. No matter what happens, you've already succeeded in doing that." Her words seemed to lift a weight off Marcus's shoulders. He smiled, a genuine smile that reached his eyes. "Thank you, Xelara. I needed to hear that." As the day of the competition approached, they finalized their menu and rehearsed their presentation. The night before the event, Xelara gave Marcus a motivational speech, reminding him of all they had accomplished together and how far they had come. Her words bolstered his spirits, and he felt ready to face the challenge ahead. The competition venue was a whirlwind of activity. Chefs from around the world had gathered, each one eager to showcase their skills and impress the judges. Marcus and Xelara arrived early, setting up their station and preparing for the intense day ahead. As the competition began, the atmosphere was electric. The sounds of chopping, sizzling, and clinking filled the air. Marcus worked with a focused intensity, his movements precise and deliberate. Xelara stayed close, offering support and helping with the preparations. However, the competition took an unexpected turn when Marcus discovered that his ingredients had been tampered with. A rival chef, jealous of Marcus's talent, had sabotaged their station. Panic set in, but Xelara quickly intervened, warning Marcus about the sabotage. "We can't let this stop us," she said firmly. "We need to improvise and make the best of what we have." Marcus took a deep breath, his determination renewed by Xelara's words. They quickly adapted their menu, using the remaining ingredients to create new dishes on the fly. The pressure was immense, but their teamwork and resilience shone through. Xelara provided emotional support, keeping Marcus calm and focused. Despite the sabotage, they managed to present their dishes on time. As the judges tasted their creations, the tension in the air was palpable. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. The judges announced the winners, and to their delight, Marcus and Xelara's innovative fusion dishes earned them high praise. They didn't win the top prize, but they received a special commendation for creativity and cultural integration. The recognition was a testament to their hard work and perseverance. Marcus felt a surge of pride as the judges complimented their dishes. He realized that the true victory lay in the journey they had undertaken together. After the competition, Marcus turned to Xelara, gratitude evident in his eyes. "We did it, Xelara. We proved them wrong." Xelara smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "Yes, we did. And this is just the beginning. There's so much more we can achieve together." Their bond had been tested and strengthened through the challenges they faced. As they left the competition venue, they knew that their partnership was built on trust, resilience, and a shared passion for bridging cultures through food. The days following the cooking competition were a whirlwind. Marcus and Xelara found themselves in the spotlight, with media outlets eager to cover their unique partnership and innovative dishes. Despite the sabotage attempt, the competition had opened new doors for them. and they received an invitation for Marcus to host his own cooking show. Xelara sat at a corner table in the restaurant, watching Marcus speak animatedly with a television producer. She couldn't help but smile at the sight of him brimming with confidence. The competition had been a turning point, not just for Marcus, but for their partnership as well. However, the sabotage incident still lingered in the back of her mind. It had left a shadow over their recent success, and Xelara wanted to ensure it didn't sour their future endeavors. She approached Marcus as he finished his conversation. "Marcus, can we talk?" she asked, gesturing toward a quieter part of the restaurant. "Of course, Xelara." "What's on your mind?" he replied, his expression softening as he noticed her serious demeanor. "I've been thinking about the sabotage at the competition. We need to address it, not just for our sake but to show we won't be intimidated," she said, her voice firm with resolve. Marcus nodded. "I agree. We can't let it go unchecked. But how do you suggest we handle it?" Xelara considered his question carefully. "We could start by publicly addressing what happened. Transparency will show we have nothing to hide and that we stand by our integrity." Marcus smiled, appreciating her diplomatic approach. "I knew there was a reason I keep you around," he teased gently. "Let's do it." The next day, they held a press conference at the restaurant. Marcus spoke about the sabotage with candor, and Xelara highlighted their commitment to overcoming challenges with honesty and resilience. The media response was overwhelmingly positive, and it further solidified their reputation as a formidable team. That evening, they hosted a celebratory event at the restaurant. Regular patrons and new customers alike filled the space, eager to congratulate them and taste the dishes that had brought them acclaim. The atmosphere was festive, with lively conversations and the clinking of glasses. As they moved through the crowd, Xelara found herself deep in thought about her future. The recent successes had made her reconsider her role on Earth. She loved her work and the bonds she had formed, but she also felt a growing desire to explore new avenues and make a broader impact. "Penny for your thoughts," Marcus's voice broke through her reverie. Xelara smiled. "Just thinking about what's next for me. I've learned so much here, but I feel there's more I could do." Marcus looked at her thoughtfully. "You know, Xelara, whatever you decide, you've already made a huge difference. And if you're thinking about expanding your horizons, I'd support you all the way." His words warmed her heart. "Thank you, Marcus. Your support means the world to me." As the night wore on, they discussed future projects, including a potential new venture that would combine their culinary talents on a larger scale. The possibilities were exciting, and they knew they could achieve great things together. By the end of the evening, Xelara felt a renewed sense of purpose. The challenges they had faced had only strengthened their resolve, and she was ready to embrace whatever came next with Marcus by her side. Xelara woke up with a sense of excitement and anticipation. Today was the grand opening of their new culinary venture, a restaurant that would seamlessly blend Tranquillian and human cuisine, reflecting their journey and shared vision. The venue had been meticulously designed to showcase the best of both cultures, with decor that was both futuristic and warmly inviting. As she arrived at the restaurant, she took a moment to appreciate the intricate details, the vibrant fusion of colors, the soft ambient lighting, and the subtle nods to both Tranquillian and human traditions. It was perfect. Marcus was already there, overseeing the final preparations. He looked up as she entered, a broad smile spreading across his face. "Xelara, it looks amazing, doesn't it?" "It really does," she agreed, her heart swelling with pride. "I can't believe we've come this far." The opening event was set to start in a few hours, and the anticipation was palpable. As they went over the final checklist, they encountered a few unexpected challenges. A shipment of crucial ingredients had been delayed, and there were some last-minute technical glitches with the kitchen equipment. "Just our luck," Marcus muttered, frustration creeping into his voice. Xelara placed a reassuring hand on his arm. "We've handled worse, Marcus. Let's stay calm and think of solutions." Together, they managed to source the missing ingredients from a local market, and Marcus's quick thinking resolved the technical issues. It was a testament to their teamwork and resilience, and by the time the first guests arrived, everything was back on track. The grand opening was a resounding success. Guests from both Earth and Tranquilia marveled at the innovative dishes, each one a testament to Marcus's culinary genius and Xelara's diplomatic influence. The atmosphere was electric, filled with laughter, conversation, and the clinking of glasses. Xelara moved through the crowd, engaging with guests and sharing stories about the inspirations behind the menu. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that they were not just serving food but creating an experience that brought people together. As the evening progressed, Marcus took the stage to give a speech. He spoke about their journey, the challenges they had faced, and the vision that had brought them here. "This restaurant is more than just a place to eat," he said. "It's a symbol of what we can achieve when we embrace our differences and work together." The applause was thunderous, and Xelara felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. She knew this was just the beginning of their new adventure. After the event, as the last guests were leaving, Xelara and Marcus sat down to reflect on the evening. "We did it," Xelara Marcus said, his voice filled with emotion. "I couldn't have done any of this without you." Xelara smiled, her heart full. "And I couldn't have asked for a better partner. This is just the start of something amazing." As they clinked their glasses in a toast to the future, Xelara felt a sense of belonging and purpose she had never experienced before. The journey had been challenging, but it had also been incredibly rewarding. With Marcus by her side, she was ready to face whatever came next. Their new beginning was not just about a restaurant, it was about a partnership built on trust, respect, and a shared passion for bringing people together through the universal language of food. And in that moment, Xelara knew that they could achieve anything they set their minds to.